What up, y'all? My name is Crew, also known as Araneae Storm, checking in. And I am your Cosmic Rootwork astrologer. I specialize in Mars activations as well as North Node and South Node consultations. So if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can hit me up at araneastorm.wiz.com/info. And you can also find me on all social media at Araneae Storm. All links will be below. Before we get it on and cracking, I was like, what the heck? Before we get on and cracking, I do have a Mars activation series that's up right now. It is Mars activation, Pluto, Platonic, working with your Platonic energy, the Phoenix rising. So if you would like to check that out, activating your Mars and also activating your Platonic energy. If you would like to check that out, that definitely is available below link. And then if you don't check the link out, you can always go to the website at araneastorm.wiz.com/info. And December 13th, we will be having the I just lost my train of thought. December, Venus and Gemini, welcome. We will be having the Mars activation series once again. This will be talking about this book that I've read called The Big Leap and how that relates to your Jupiterian energy. So you want to make sure you definitely check that out. The link will be below for all of that information. I have been gone for a little bit. It's kind of off doing my thing. So I haven't really been on social media like that. I just kind of been playing video games. I'm gonna be real. Playing video games, working on little things here and there, and just trying to like relieve my mind of like all the downloads that have been coming through since October and November. So I'm back, and it feels good. Like really, honestly, truly, it feels good to be back. I feel like, you know, hold on, let me move this out the way. I feel good to be recording these videos because it's been a while since I've recorded. So like, I'm like, oh shit, like we back. So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So if this is your first time coming through, welcome. If this is your actual Venus sign, Venus and Gemini, or you know somebody who has a Venus and Gemini, you're just trying to get a little info, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, you're just coming to learn and coming along to learn a little bit of Venus and Gemini already. If you're coming to learn along the way, you come to the right place. I promise y'all, it's not like any retrogrades or anything going on at this time. I seriously channel the energy that I talk about. It's crazy. And I'm a Mars and Gemini too, so it's like, you know, I get it. All right, so first off, let's talk about Venus first, and then we'll talk about Gemini and Venus together doing the dance on that thing. So Venus is ruling over Taurus and Libra, so that's already, you know what I'm saying, if we're going to talk about, you know, the energy that we embodying right now, that is that energy. But when we talk about Venus, we're talking about how you are in relationships, and that's not even just your partner, you know, intimate partner, like one-on-one, but, or however many partners that you have, you know, because it's different dynamics the way we do the thing, you know what I'm saying? But this is also like, you know, your bread, your finances, your money house, or your money planet as well. You know, how you deal with money, how you want to make money, the things that you're passionate about in that sense. So Venus is that. This is how these are the things that you want to, these are the things that you are attracted to, but this is also the things that you give and receive in relationships. So your friendships, your partnerships, relationships, work partnerships, you know what I mean? And things like that, collaborations. This is the energy that is being exchanged, embodied. And like I said, this is the energy that you seek out. Your Mars is kind of how you go about getting the thing, you know what I'm saying? So when we talk about Venus and Gemini here, the first thing that came to my pit and pad in my mind was the intellect. Mars and Gemini can literally talk about any fucking thing in the fucking world. They might not be able to go into too much depth. They can. That's not to say that they can't. But they could talk about anything. They could keep a conversation basically going about anything. I'm like, yo, fun facts. Did you hear about this? What about this? Did you know about this? Venus and Gemini. It's like, you know what I mean? Like it needs like that mental stimulation, that conversation, that communication. Venus and Sagittarius is where you get like deep, like philosophy and like theorizing shit and, you know, well, this meant this, because, you know what I mean? Like, that's, and it just, you know what I mean? Gemini is more about, like, the facts. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it loves to have conversations. It will bring up conversations to have conversations like, yo, I was talking to such and such and such, and we was talking about this, da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very excitable in that sense. Like, it's very childlike in its own nature. You know what I'm saying? It's very curious. It likes to be kept on its toes. You know, I'm always going to say that about Gemini because it definitely is that energy, you know, like Venus and Gemini. If we're talking about relationships, so I guess we'll start off with relationships. Now I feel like I'm talking too fast. Oh my God, calm down, Gemini. Calm down. I gotta talk to the twins because this is twin energy. When we get to talk about twin, I have a South Node of Gemini as well. So it's like, I get it. I understand. I overstand. Okay. Venus and Gemini, relationship wise, on like intimate partnership wise, you know, this is not your let's settle down and you know unless we have like heavy earth energy in here, you know, or strong earth energy or strong earth aspects, you know, this is not the type of energy, like, you know, they like to flirt, they like to kind of mingle and see what's out there. This is kind of like the energy that kind of still feels like, well, I mean, I could settle with you, but what if something else nice comes along and it's everything that I want? You know what I mean? Everything that I need is very childlike, like Venus and Aries. And it's like, I don't know if this is going to be enough for me. You know, Venus and Gemini also gets bored very easily. So it's just like, need somebody who's going to keep me on my toes. Need somebody who's going to keep me, you know, there. Or they seek out a partner that is, you know what I mean? If Venus and Gemini, if you see a Venus and Gemini person, because this is not only them embodying that energy, but like I said, this is a seek out. If you see a Venus and Gemini person with somebody who just like routine, you know, doing the same shit every day, you know, there's not really a lot of dialogue there. It's just kind of stale. There's no really excitement in that. Venus and Gemini is probably thinking of like what else that they can kind of get into. They might be talking to you, but just know that they're probably thinking about talking to somebody else. Or they might be talking to somebody else. And this is not trying to put a damper on the relationship. I'm just a messenger here. All right? I'm just saying, like, Venus and Gemini needs that mental stimulation. You'll be better kept with a Venus Gemini when you can actually keep them in that energy versus like being like boring. They don't want a boring ass nigga. They don't want boring ass niggas. They don't want boring ass relationships. They don't want boring ass friendships. They don't want, they just know, like they like excitement. They need excitement. They want things to talk about. They like things to gossip about. Not to say, you know, this is like energy. You know, we talk about energy and frequency here. You know what I'm saying? But like they, you know what I mean? It's wordsmiths. You know what I mean? So like Venus and Gemini, you know, they're very playful in that sense. They can write poetry, fucking songwriting, producing, ghostwriting for motherfuckers. Like performing arts, artwork. Like they're the Jack, Jill, whoever of all fucking trades. They kind of know how to do a little bit of everything. They kind of know how to talk about a little bit of everything. Like very much so. It's very quick, fast. It's the mutable air we're talking about, so it's very quick, fast, in a motherfucking hurry. All right, you see what I'm saying? Like it's quick, you know, very spontaneous. You know, this is like the jokesters, the tricksters, you know, the zodiac. So this is like Venus and Gemini are the types they will love to play pranks on you, or, you know, there's a word or something like that you don't know, and they know, they're like, ha 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 ha, you don't know what the fuck. But I know what it is. You don't. Let me tell you about it. Because it's not how you say it. It's not. You know what I mean? Like, this is that. Definitely, like, make me laugh. Make me think about shit is Venus and Gemini. Like, if I don't feel like I'm learning shit from you, or, you know, the conversation's, like, kind of, like, off-kept, Venus and Gemini's not really there. You know, Venus and Gemini's kind of like, you know, kind of boring, you know. They don't really like that. They're very witty. You know what I mean? Like, they have comebacks, you know what I'm saying? You say something, they say something, you know what I mean? They're like, no, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like, that's Venus and Gemini. You know, they're not necessarily the type of people that are going to plan out dates. You know, like, they're just like, I'm going to pick you up. This is Gemini energy in general, but that's Venus and Gemini is like, I'm going to pick you up. You know what I mean? Like, just be ready. You know, if you're the type of motherfucker that's like, I need a plan, I need a schedule, I need to know when, how, what, where, how, who's going to be there, who all over there. Venus and Gemini is like, all right. Like, you killed it. You killed it. You blew it. You blew it. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. I just want to do. You know, they like to try new shit, especially if you're talking about the bedroom. I know this goes into Mars per se, but they will be down to try shit. They'll be down to, you know, because the curiosity in them wants to. You know what I mean? Like, they want to really kind of get a sense of like where your head is at, where your mind is at. So they'll go and try some shit. They'll go and do out some shit. You know what I'm saying? Fashionable. You know, these some fashionable ass motherfuckers. They'll try things. Like, this is like trendsetter energy. I think of Venus and Aquarius are like this too. But Venus and Gemini will try some shit just to see a motherfucker's reaction. You know what I mean? Like, they'll try some shit or throw on some shit and be like, oh, this shit about to kill all these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like, well, I'm about to kill it. And they'll just try some shit and then motherfuckers will be like, damn, like, that shit is tough. Where you get that? Where you get that at? You know what I mean? Or they'll make some shit or design some shit, draw a design, or, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, get that shit on them, and then motherfuckers, all types of motherfuckers will be like, yo, where did you get that? Like, that shit is hot. That shit is hot. You know what I mean? Like, that's definitely Venus and Gemini energy. They, you know, these are the writers and producers and musicians and actors as well. Like, these Venus and Gemini can get into character. They know how to get into character. They know how to play. They know how to, like, see something and be like, okay, I can embody this. You know what I mean? Have a lot of different friends from a lot of different places. You know what I mean? Like, this is the type of energy that they know people over here. They know people over there. They know a little bit over here. You know, they know things. They know people and they know things from all over. They know how to go into this group and be in that group, kind of go over here and kind of, you know what I'm saying? Very much so. Very friendly. Very much so, like, sunflower. Like, I think of like a sunflower or something like that. Like, very sunny energy. Very, like, for the most part, like I said, check the aspects and what else is going on in the chart. But they definitely have a sunny disposition about life. They like to see all perspectives of things. So this is not the type of energy where, you know, like I said, unless they have a lot of fixed energy, or they like have a lot of earth energy in them, like, they will be able to see different sides, different perspectives, different, like, you know, energies, different, you know what I mean? They look at things from all sides, you know what I mean? So they're not really confined to a certain thing or a certain thing that a certain, you know, a certain way that a, you know, certain thing has to be, or that's not really like their energy. So don't expect them to be that, because then they'll kind of be like, all right, like, I get what you're saying, but I mean, it could be this, you know what I mean? It could be that, you know what I mean? Definitely that. For Venus and Gemini, I feel like you would be the type of person, like, Venus and Gemini needs to be speaking. You need to be communicating to people. You need to be communicating your thoughts. You need to be, especially if we're talking about work and just money making. Venus and Gemini needs to have something that is dynamic, in a sense of, like, you are able to do multiple things at a time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're able to, like, switch scenes or switch up things, you know. Venus and Gemini, when it comes to money making and stuff like that, this is the type of energy that they can work all types of different jobs, or all kinds of different odd jobs, or, you know what I mean? Like, they don't have necessarily stick to, like, one thing. They need a variety, because if they don't have a variety, once again, they get bored. They get bored. They get bored. They get bored, and they'll get into some other shit that they probably shouldn't be getting into, but they get into anyway because they're bored, and they're kind of looking for that thrill. They're looking for something new. They're looking for something different. Venus and Gemini is also the type of people that they can really get along with children, you know, because they do have like that youth-like energy. So like teaching kids, working with kids, you know what I mean? Being like a mentor for kids and stuff like that. Definitely that. They can actually change the generation, like they can change the scope of a generation and the way they think about certain things, because they're very youthful. You know, when Venus comes here, they're very youthful in their energy. So like they can really tap into the minds of the generation coming up, you know what I mean, and make them think about things a little bit differently. Especially if that's through music or through the form of writing or through speaking, you know, because Gemini knows how to kind of grasp ideas and then break them down to where you can understand those ideas. It's easy for Gemini to do that. They can pull all types of energy or all types of information from different places and then kind of, you know, spit it out into a way that you understand it. So, you know, these are the type of people that people will listen to. You know what I mean? So if you have a message or something's been placed on your heart to speak on and talk about Venus and Gemini, definitely talk about that shit. You know, this is what we would call the players of the zodiac. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I kind of mentioned it a little bit before, but, you know, not to say that Venus and Gemini can't commit, but, you know, it's definitely the kind of energy that's kind of like, likes his options. You know what I mean? And I was going on each video and talking about the song, because I was listening to Trey Songz, the Ready album Deluxe. Okay. And I was talking about each song, what it kind of reminded me of for the first 4 songs that I did. And I think I'm going to do this for each one. So I'm doing 4 today, and then I'll do 4 tomorrow, like, or 4 as I record. I'm doing them in like sets of 4s and stuff like that for right now. But each, you know, Venus sign that I've done so far has had a song from the Ready album, Trey Songz. Y'all's LOL smiley face. All right. Shorty just text me, say she wanna sex me. LOL smiley face, LOL smiley face. Shorty send a tweet, say she come get this. LOL smiley face, LOL smiley face. You know what I mean? Like that. It's very playful. Like, listen to the song. LOL smiley face, Trey Songz. You know what I'm saying? Ready album. Deluxe. Yeah, it's very like playful, you know. Shawty called my phone, I was busy, cruising downtown, round the city, yup. And the reason I brought up Trey Songz as well, because Sagittarius sits on y'all's opposite, you know, and, you know, Trey Songz is a November Sagittarius. So, you know, I was just in this Sagittarian mood, this Sagittarian spirit and stuff like that. So, you know, it came up for me. You know, it definitely came up for y'all as well. So, big twin energy. So 1 minute, and you have to understand this about Gemini. I think you have to understand this about everybody, but Gemini, because it is the twins, it really embodies this energy. So you have to understand about Venus and Gemini, just Gemini energy in general. One day Gemini might feel like this, and the next day Gemini might feel like this, you know. And you have to understand, especially being the messenger of the zodiac, and if we put Venus and we have Gemini here, it's kind of like Gemini is embodying this energy, you know. Gemini is embodying like all these different people, you know, and things like that. So people be like, oh my God, Gemini is so fucking crazy. It's like, no, Gemini is a vessel. We're all vessels, but Gemini embodies the vessel. You know, Gemini is the vessel, the messenger god. So can you imagine having all these people within you, you know, and then having to spew or then having to kind of play all those things out, and sometimes even subconsciously playing these things out, or unconsciously playing these different personalities and things out. So you just gotta have to work with it. If that shit excites you, this would definitely be a Venus sign that would be maybe compatible with you. Like I said, you want to go into synastry charts and you want to check the aspects and things. But for the most part, you know, this is not a predictable energy. One day Venus, you know, Venus and Gemini is this. One day Venus and Gemini is like that. So it's like, it's what do you like? You know what I mean? What do you want? You know what I mean? I think it was that meme that said, something about something, but I could do it all. So like there was like this girl who took pictures. I'll get you a girl that could do it all. So there was this girl that took pictures of herself with like many different wigs, many different styles, you know, many different hair colors, outfits. She was like multiple motherfuckers in, you know what I mean, in different seasons for the reason. You feel what I'm saying? This is Venus and Gemini energy. You're not gonna get the same shit. You know what I mean? You just not. You know what I mean? Or once again, they're seeking somebody who is dynamic in a way that they're not doing the same shit. You know what I'm saying? They, you know, you got just a different kind of energy about them. You know what I mean? Moody energy as well. 1 minute this, 1 minute that. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely all over. So, you know, pick what you like. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, that is my analysis of Venus and Gemini. Like I said, my name is Kru, also known as Rainy Storm. You can hit me up on all social media once again. All the links below. And we're going to move on to Venus and Cancer. So thank y'all for rocking with me. And I will see y'all soon.